Hey everyone, it's Paige. Welcome back to the Paige Show. So I have a teenager now. Really crazy to think about that, but my firstborn baby boy is a teenager officially, and he definitely is showing signs. You guys know what I mean by that, right? So I had this epiphany in the shower. That's where it usually happens because it's the only time that I can hopefully be left alone from my 4 children or partner. It's always the time I can try to lock the door and hide out for a while. So I really thought about, with the changes that were going on with him, I was kind of having a sad mom moment because I was feeling a little disconnected. I wasn't sure in the moment how to reach out to him, or how to reach him is probably a better way to say that. Some struggles he was starting to show signs of, and I was getting down on myself. Yes, me, even though I walk you through all these techniques to help you, they're techniques that have been shared with me because I needed them, right? And I still do on days because I'm human, and we talk about that on the show. It's all about being real. So I was having a day, and it wasn't a day that a friend could help me with. It was a day I knew I needed to go to source and say, what can I do to resolve this and make this better? I can't have this weigh on me. It was the epiphany that your kid is still your baby, but they're really not identifying as a baby anymore, and they're rebelling against that, and you have to shift how you talk to them and see them. And it's just, of course, the hardest part of being a parent, especially a mom. And the epiphany was that, if we had a master's degree in anything, it would be great to have one in parenting. Some course you could take and you could get some master's degree in how to handle every stage of their life until, forever. For as long as you are alive, you're a parent. So, I thought about that, and then it was kind of like Spirit had jokes, because they're like, you can't get a master's degree in those things. You can't get a master's degree in intuition. And that was the key for me. It was like they were showing me this was all about mom's intuition. That at some point you can't read the baby books anymore to get encouragement. You can't call a friend to get encouragement because they may or may not be in the same stage as you are in your life, and every kid's different and blah, blah, blah. And they were just showing me that it was all about going back to intuition, that mom's intuition, a parent's intuition. I'll say mom because we're speaking about me in this story. That is the master's degree to have. Is you reach a certain point where, all along you're using your intuition, hopefully, no matter if you call it that or not. As a parent, there are things that you do from the time you bring the baby home from the hospital that you just do on instinct, or don't do on instinct. There's a lot of stages up until about right now that you could get advice on. You could talk to a therapist. You could read a book, and they'll have a million stories to help you with that. But there's this uniqueness about a teenager. That's what I've come to the conclusion of, especially a teenager in this time, in this day and age, that they are almost out to prove every book wrong, every advice wrong. You really just have to kind of be on your own with your individual child, is what it feels like, at least in my story. And so I felt like Spirit was giving me a nice, warm, fuzzy hug and a joke, because that's what I need in those moments of like, there's no master degree could help you with this, sister. That's kind of what it felt like. This is all about going back to the core, the beginning, the mom's intuition of what to do with this. And then it just blew up in my head about how many, we go back to that certification issue. Is it from the divine, or do we have to have everything on paper? And then all the master's degrees that you could get in the world right now. But how do they serve us in a time where something's thrown your way that the degree doesn't make sense of? I'll let that sit with you for a sec. Some of you are probably in a stage in your life right now where you're like, no matter what, everything I have done in the past, every degree I have up until this point is not helping me find a new job. It's not helping me keep the job I have. It's not helping my industry that I work in not implode. right now. All of these things are happening. I've done a lot of episodes on the why of that. So look back through some of those, and I won't repeat that on today's, but all of that's leading to the fact that everything we've done up until now is not going to always show us the way forward. Everything's changing. It has to. We can't keep going the way that we are. And so even in this moment, Spirit showed me that up until now as a parent, the things that you knew to do with him, it's not going to work the same way anymore. You've got to get to know this new little human, because that's what it feels like when they become a teenager. You've got to understand him for who he is now. And in another year or 2 or 5 or 10, you're going to continue to have to understand him for who he is then. And then it just exploded further in my head of how we don't do that with the relationships that we're in now, the people that we love and care for, no matter how deeply we say we love and care for them. We start to walk away or turn away or run from things when they don't feel comfortable or good or warm and fuzzy anymore. And it really could go back to that shift in awareness is, why does it feel different? Instead of blaming it on them, they changed or she changed or it changed. We always want to blame it on something. We could just look inward and say, maybe my perception of this needs to change. Maybe I don't know them the same way that I knew them before, because they're not the same that they were before. And we could see that as a beautiful thing, that yay, they're changing, they're evolving, they're not staying the same. They are identifying with different parts of their story. They're uncovering it too. And so along the way, we could uncover it with them instead of rebel against it, right? And so it was a really beautiful message about all of the things, Mom's intuition, some humor about teenage attitude and changes and what that does to you as a mom and the household, and everything, shifts as time goes on and relationships change. The relationship being, in this instance, with a child that I'm talking about. And I just feel like it also pointed out to the belief I've always had that, if we ask, we can receive. That idea of manifestation and setting out intention and literally talking to God and Spirit as if they are in the room around you, because they are in the room around you. And when you start to identify that and embrace it because you're experiencing it, you're asking for help, you're talking to them like I'm talking to you right now on this podcast. You start to believe it. You know that they're around you, and you can do something as simple as being in a shower and just talk to them, have a conversation with them, and get these answers back. It was very simple. I'm struggling. I get in the shower to try to clear my mind and get away from the chaos for a minute to think. And in that beautiful connection of water and intention and asking and prayer, they give me what I needed in the moment. Something very quick, but short and sweet it was, all right? And so I wanted to pass that on today. I hope that helps you. And like always, until we do this again, please stay healthy, happy, and safe.